after such a tough end to the Portland Thorns game and having to go on the road to Gotham, it could have been a tough game to get a result. But determination of this team, the belief in this team is unmatched because guess who is number 2 in the entire NWSL? Yep, San Diego Wave FC. How did the Wave bounce back after last game? How did Jonas switch up the lineup? And was it the right call? And who on the squad showed up and showed out to make the big plays of the day? Welcome back to the Penalty Kick Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Geo. Sorry for not posting last game. I was in Utah running the Ragnar race relay, and the event was absolutely brutal. Physically, mentally, I didn't have reception while I was out there because we were in Zion National Park. But I am just glad I got the opportunity to compete, to find the strength to finish, and I didn't get to watch the game. I didn't get to catch the game. I did read up on it, and it was such a tough loss. Red card in the first half, playing a woman down for over 60 plus minutes and having the chance to win, but giving up a PK in the dying moments to drop 2 points. It was tough to read about. It was tough to watch those highlights, but it showed me that this team can fight. It showed me that this team does not give up. I mean, how much energy you had to expend to nearly get a win, a 1-0 win from a team that is 4th now in the NWSL in the Portland Thorns. But I will say, we've given up 4 penalty kicks this year, and it has cost us some points. So we need to find ways to be more cautious in the box. Maybe instead of trying to bite into tackles, maybe we can look into blocking those shots instead. But kudos for what the Wave showed us, not only last game, but especially of what they showed us against the Gotham team that we just played. And Jonas had to make some changes. He had to change the lineup because Wesley could not play because she was suspended. So McNabb plugs into the back line next to Trinity Armstrong. And I was more shocked on the offensive selections because we played Ascanio on the wing. Ascanio has played the last couple games as the striker. So Leon goes in on striker, Ascanio goes on the wing instead of a Sanchez, instead of a Barcenas. And when the lineup was released yesterday, I was like, what the heck are you doing, Jonas? I'm really big on consistency, playing players in the positions that they normally play, because I really do think a lot of the times it's tough to play out of position or a position that you're usually used to playing. So I was like, what the heck, Jonas? But again, that's why I'm sitting here and Jonas is the head coach of the team, because it ended up working out. So shame on me for getting all riled up on the lineup, but it was a big call and there were some big moments based off this lineup. And I think this was definitely a tough bounce back game. Again, to have that dropped 2 points, to use so much energy when you're down a woman, to use that much energy to be in the game, to create chances. They still created chances that last game, and then to just see the game out. That is tough, even though we dropped 2 points. But hey, that's a pretty good result, being down a woman for 60 minutes. I will say the first 15 minutes of this game were a little bit sloppy. I think, on the road, that's kind of what happens, especially because we like controlling the game. And when you're at home, easier to control the game from the start. But when you're away, not always as easy. So I will say I thought it was a little sloppy. There was a little bit of turnovers, and it was kind of almost 50-50 possession in those first 15, 20 minutes. But the Wave grew into the game as normal, and they started to really execute. And in the 30th minute, Ascanio shows up on the score sheet. Again, kudos, Jonas. But what a goal by Ascanio. I mean, if you really look at how technical she had to be in that moment. She did get a little bit of luck, right? The ball hit off of her, but the composure, this skill to control the ball and then take a couple touches to take the ball away from the defender, and then to finish with an outside of the boot shot to the top right corner going across goal What a goal. Like, what even goes through your head in that moment to finish in that way, to have that much confidence, to have that much pizzazz, to have the audacity to take a shot like that? And she is 17 years old and she is showing up. She obviously got the goal early last game. She's gotten goals, earlier this season. And to get a goal in this game the way she did, yes. Yes, Ascanio. Yes, Ascanio. And we have some bona fide 17-year-olds starting. Ascanio has shown up in the starting lineup really consistently now. Trinity Armstrong has shown up in the lineup consistently now. Barcenas is in and out of the lineup, but those are 17-year-olds that are making massive plays for such a great team at the professional level. It boggles my mind and just amazing to see these players continue to get PT and grow. But with this Ascanio goal, I don't want to forget how it was built up because I think this is important. It goes in the buildup, it goes in the details. Cascarino picked up the ball midfield, right side of the field near the touchline. She does a diagonal run going by a defender, and then she drew three defenders towards her as she drove the ball towards the middle and forward. That collapsed the defense. And guess what? Maroney makes a just dashing run from the left wing, which no one tracked her. So it was a sneaky run, but booked it down the field. And then Maroney gets the ball from Cascarino, which then it ends up going to Ascanio for the goal. Those plays are the difference. Those plays are what set up a goal. So big shout out to Cascarino for making big plays, even though you don't get the assist on that play. Cascarino really was the impetus for creating this goal. So such beautiful build-up play. And we also had more beautiful build-up play on almost Ascanio getting the second goal when it goes through the middle to the wing, a cut back in the middle, and then Ascanio hits the post. It could have been 2-0. It could have been a big, big goal, another big, big goal. But luckily we close out the game. But I do want to highlight one play because this game ended 1-0. It could have been 2-0 if Ascanio, doesn't hit the post. But I mean, tough finish, good strike. Can't blame Ascanio for any of that or the team for any of that. Sometimes the ball just doesn't go exactly your way. But I want to highlight this. Maroney. Maroney, you impress me every time I see you play. Not only dynamic runs on offense, again, think of the Ascanio goal this game, but you can also just get by players from your wing back or left back position. You have dynamic runs, you can get by players, but you are a defensive player, so defense matters, and defense not only wins games, it wins championships. And the play I want to highlight, especially this just shows me how Jonas has really instilled hustle, grit, determination into this team and how the players have bought into it because players have to execute at the end of the day. If we look back at this play, I think this is one of the biggest plays of the game. In the 48th minute, McNabb tries to clear the ball off of header when the defense is really pressed up towards almost the midfield line. The header doesn't go far. It falls right to a New York player, a Gotham player, and the Gotham player immediately sends it to an attacking player. Maroney and the entire defense was a little bit out of position off that clearance. Maroney books it back to the attacker who is driving at goal. And Maroney is a couple yards behind the offensive player, but just gives 100% effort to get back and then gets back in between the offensive player, the ball, and the goal. The offensive player for New York shoots the ball wide. Did Maroney get a deflection on the ball? No. Did Maroney push the offensive player off the ball? No. But Maroney did just enough to make it a really difficult shot on goal. And that was early in the second half. What if that turns into a goal? What if Maroney doesn't give 100%? How does it change the dynamic of the game? These little details are the reasons teams can win or potentially tie or potentially lose because maybe now New York has the momentum, especially considering New York was at home. But what a game. What a team. This is something special to watch. And I have been in awe of the Wave this season, especially after their last season. This is why they're the number two team in the entire league, above Orlando and just behind Kansas City. So vamos, Wave, because next game we got North Carolina Courage, and that means there's more work to do. But until that next game, I'm Mike Geo, and vamos, Wave.